Yeah, welcome to this session at WikiIndaba 2022. With me is Esther Wanza, who's going to be talking about how Code for Africa is fighting misinformation and disinformation on Wikipedia through fact-checking. So Esther, you're welcome, and take it away.
Thank you so much. It's great to be on this platform, and today I'm very excited to be participating by sharing with you what Code for Africa is doing to fight misinformation on Wikipedia through fact-checking. So my name is Esther Wanza, and by the time we finish this presentation, you're going to be inspired by what we are doing in our organization that's at Code for Africa. So let's just begin. I'd like to first maybe tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Esther Wanza, as I have said, and I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya. I am a communities product manager. I work at Code for Africa in the knowledge team, and I am a professional who is very passionate about development programs, and I have a background study in gender and development studies. And so today, in this presentation, I will let you know who CFA is. So I'm going to tell you who we are and what we do. And I'd also like to share one of our network's key role in fighting misinformation on Wikipedia, that's PesaCheck. And then I will also let you know about the community that we have, the Wikipedia in residence community that we have at Code for Africa, and some of the projects that we have already begun through the community. All right, so allow me to introduce Code for Africa to you. Code for Africa is the largest network that deals with civic technology and data journalism in Africa. And we have more than 100 projects and staff in more than 20 countries in Africa. And we have a number of networks at Code for Africa that focus on different subjects that are related to civic technology, of course, and data journalism. And one of those networks is WanaData, which is a community of women data scientists, academics, technologists. And we also have the African Fact-Checking Alliance, which supports more than 350 newsrooms to set up their own fact-checking desks. We also have Hacksackers Africa, which explores ways to rewire media by connecting technology with journalism through civic technology. And we also have the African Drone, which is the network of civic drone operators. So basically, they conduct research using drones, and we have a Sensors Africa, which focuses on climate subjects, which researches on climate subjects. And we have PesaCheck, again, which is the largest fact-checking network in Africa. And we have iLab that supports different newsrooms in more than 22 countries to conduct investigations. So that's just a nutshell about Code for Africa. And I'd like to highlight why is it important for us to fight misinformation. As you may already know, the African continent has a population of about 1.4 billion people, according to Worldometers as of 2022. And almost half of this population, which is about 584 million, have access to internet. That's according to Statistica as of 2021. And so what this tells you is that there are so many people that go online to access information, to get answers to questions, to various questions. And as you already know, Wikipedia is the largest encyclopedia in the world that supplies information to different people on different subjects. So what this means is that millions of people are going to Wikipedia to search for information. And that is where we come in to partner with Wikipedia, because we know that there's a lot of good and correct information that goes out there, and that's a great thing. But unfortunately, we also have a group of Wikipedia users that also spread false information, hence misleading people. And this is what we're trying to partner with other people to do to fight misinformation on Wikipedia. So this is where Code for Africa comes in to fight this misinformation that is also being spread to millions of people on Wikipedia. All right, so before we go further, I'd like to introduce one of our teams to you, and that is the PesaCheck team. And by understanding what PesaCheck does, then you will be able to see why it is important for PesaCheck to participate in the campaign against misinformation on Wikipedia by Code for Africa. So as I had mentioned earlier, PesaCheck is the continent's largest organization, fact-checking organization, and we have staffs in more than 12 countries that are expert fact checkers. And the other thing that I would like to highlight about PesaCheck is that they have played a very key role in training the Wikipedians that we are working with in the projects that we are working with. And they're also going to be a very key contributor in the Wikipedia residence community that we are already putting in place. So to just highlight to you, when we are working with Wikipedians, because our role is to fight misinformation on Wikipedia, we involve PesaCheck to highly train them on how to become experts in fact-checking content on Wikipedia. And I'll just share with you a very simple process of how fact-checking is done, the methodology. But really, I can't go into the details because it goes deeper than you just see on my screen. But the simple process, if I were to put it to you, it goes from identifying a claim. So this is basically identifying, what is being said to be misinformation or misleading, and then finding data regarding that claim. So that means that you're looking for data that supports that this is not the truth. What is being said is not the truth. And then after finding data, you authenticate data. And what you're doing here is basically going deeper to check for other sources that support the same claim that you're researching on. And then from authenticating that data by looking for different sources that agree, you now verify the claim by seeing that all sources of information agree to the same thing. So verifying has to do with you already have different sources of information, but then you want to bring the sources together and check whether they totally agree that this information that you're debunking is actually true. Whether the debunk is actually true, what you're trying to communicate, what you're trying to solve, and then after you have actually verified that the sources of information agree and you have the sources of data and it's clear, then the last process in fact checking is publishing the findings. And publishing means now that you're going to attribute the sources of information very clearly, and then you clearly state that this was the claim, but now this is the truth. So there has to be a clear conclusion of that. So PesaCheck has been very key in the projects that we've had in Wikipedia in residence, our community by Code for Africa, or even in the community itself as we are putting it together. It's very important that our Wikipedia members understand how to properly fact check information on Wikipedia. So that is the PesaCheck's key role in fighting misinformation on Wikipedia. So I want to introduce to you our community, the Wikipedia in Residence community by Code for Africa, and what we are doing through this community to build and impact Wikipedia Africa. So the Wikipedia in Residence community is a network of African change makers, and we are calling them change makers because these are people who are passionate about making a difference in the society. And these are change makers who are Wikipedia editors and contributors working collaboratively to improve Wikipedia through cross-disciplinary content development and editing, fact-checking, and verifying information on Wikipedia. So this is the vision and the mission of the community, the Wikipedia in Residence community by Code for Africa. So what we envision or what we are aiming to achieve is to grow, is to have a community that a network of African Wikipedian editors and contributors who are expert fact checkers and content developers for Wikipedia. That is what we want to achieve through this community, and that is what we are. We have to have that in mind whenever we are structuring our programs and projects. So by the end of 2023, we want to expand our network to have more than 300 African Wikipedians, and they should be expert African Wikipedians who are change makers. And then the other thing is we want to grow our presence. We are structuring and we're already beginning to grow our community. We have already begun, and we are going to have a presence in sub-Saharan Africa, which we already have, but we are putting structures in place to strengthen that. And we are targeting countries, for now we are targeting Cameroon, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, and South Africa. So that is what the mission for our Wikipedia residence community, that's the mission that we have. You may have further questions about, okay, so how are we achieving this? So we have a program in place that we will use that we are using, and we will continue to use and refine to make this a community that is going to impact Wikipedia Africa. So some of the program activities that we have for the Wikipedia in residence community is, awarding fellowships and grants to Wikipedians, those that belong to our community, but then other times to some that may not belong in our community. And we offer these grant-based fellowships for Wikipedians to work on cross-disciplinary subjects, to conduct research and publish content, fact check, and make the right corrections on Wikipedia content. And then the other thing also, we're already doing this because we have, this year we have 2 fellowships already that we are running, Wikipedia fellowships that we are currently running. Then the other thing that we want to do is provide professional development for Wikipedians in our community, or those that would like to partner with us. And we want to do this through a number of activities. We are starting to have monthly meetups where we basically train on a particular wiki-based topic to Wikipedians or those that would like to become Wikipedians. We are planning for conference events that target Africa, where we will have expert Wikipedians come and speak on various subjects, come and share their knowledge and provide guidance, in a structured manner. We plan to have roundtables. We plan to have webinars, and panel discussions. So all these are to professionally grow the Wikipedians in our community and those that we partner with. Then the other thing is also we are mentoring, and we want to continue to mentor Wikipedians. So how mentorship looks like, for example, is like in regard to fact checking, there may be not many Wikipedians who are experts in fact checking. And so we can train, but also now work with them in the process of learning how to fact check content on Wikipedia until they have grown enough to really know how to do it. So that's what we are calling mentorship. And this mentorship is one-on-one, but then it can also be group mentorship. And then, the other thing that we plan to do is to have MOOC courses. So we are developing online courses for Wikipedians or for people who would like to become Wikipedians. Yes, and this is a way of, again, growing Wikipedians to become experts, and also now growing the community of Wikipedians by allowing those that would like to come on board to be able to learn through the courses that we provide online. Then the other thing is we also want to provide global visibility, and this is where we provide opportunities for Wikipedians to showcase their projects and their work through our platforms and also through our networks. Then the other thing is networking, and this is through the events that we organize, because we shall be bringing together African Wikipedians from different countries, and they can network in our events or through our communications channels. So we have various of those like Slack, where we create channels and people can come and interact and know each other. And so we want people to network so that they can also grow in their career. because we know that's one of the ways that actually Wiki can grow. So taking you from there, I'd like to share the impact that we have made through the projects that we have started in our Wikipedia in Residence community. Let me talk about 3 projects. When COVID started in 2020, we realized that there was need for information, not just there was need for information by key decision makers and other different stakeholders. And so we started a project called the Outbreak Project, which focused on finding data that is related to COVID-19. And this data was data that could be used by the health practitioners, the government, and other the CSOs and other organizations that really needed this kind of information. And so, as part of the project, we also had Wikipedians come on board, and they also conducted research and published COVID-19 related articles on Wikipedia. And so, as remember what we say, that Wikipedia is the largest, encyclopedia in the world. So it means that many people are going there and they trust the information that comes from there. And so we knew that publishing this information there, then it would be accessible to millions of people. And so we have published COVID-19 related articles and on Wikipedia, and they were also to identify and correct misleading information on COVID-19 still on Wikipedia. So that was the Outbreak Project, which ran in 2020 and 2021. And then this year, we started again 2 Wikipedia in Residence projects. The first one is the Kenya Elections Campaign, and this particular project is helping fight misinformation that is related to the recently concluded elections in Kenya. We had elections in August in Kenya. And so, so what we are doing in this project, the Wikipedians in Residence are coming again together to research again on to research and publish articles on the 2022 elections, so that 1, they contribute the right information, and then 2, fact check content that is already existing on Wikipedia and make corrections where corrections need to be made. And then the other project that we have is the climate change project, which is also having a great impact on climate change information. And so this climate change fellowship or project is focused on combating climate change misinformation on Wikipedia again. And these projects have had a great impact, in terms of contributing to correct information on Wikipedia. If I can just shed more light on the 2022 fellowships that we are having, that's the Kenya Elections Campaign and the Climate Change Fellowship. I'd like to highlight that we've had 6 African Wikipedians as fellows in these 2 projects, and they're coming from different countries such as Senegal, South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, and Cameroon. So these are the fellows that we are having currently. And they're all right. Then the other thing that I'd like to highlight is that we've also had more than 90 contributors who are on board participating in these projects. Yeah, so we have more than 90 contributors who are coming from different countries, again, across Africa. So these are fellowships that are grants, which means that they have the fellows, as they work, they are funded to do this. So the other thing is we have also been making 90 plus weekly edits and corrections of misleading information on Wikipedia. And the other thing is that we have also been researching and uploading fresh content. And on a weekly basis, we are working with about 48 freshly researched articles that are published on Wikipedia. Then the other thing is that we also have monthly editathons with these fellows. And we have about 6 monthly editathons on a monthly basis that focus on climate change and elections. So 4 of them are focusing on climate change, and then 2 focus on elections in Kenya. And then the other thing is that we have content that has already been fact-checked being published on Wikipedia. So it is either through PesaCheck or through our partners that work with PesaCheck. And so we publish about 60 articles on Wikipedia on a weekly basis. So that is content that has already been worked on. So as you can see, these fellowships are having a great impact in terms of fighting misinformation on Wikipedia. So having listened to me, I'd like to know if you would like to partner with us. Maybe you're passionate. There's a subject that you're passionate about. It may not be climate change or elections, but you already have an idea of how you'd want us to partner together, or you'd want to become part of our community. I would encourage you to join Code for Africa through the link that is being shared in the chat box. Just click on it and you'll be able to fill in your details and they will get to us. Also follow Code for Africa on Twitter, because that's where we post our opportunities a lot, and also on our website, Code for Africa. We post all our opportunities there, and when you follow us, you'll be able to see what is happening, the wiki projects that we have coming on board, whether it is called for joining the Wikipedia in Residence community, or we are calling for contributors to participate in our projects. You will be able to see all that there. So I welcome you on board to join us. So that's it from me. I'd like to, if you have any questions, I'm not sure how I'm able to access them, but then you can let me know. That's it from me, and back to you. Yes, back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. And yeah, we do have some people in the room here. I think we also may have some questions. But as they come with their questions, I'll ask one. You shared some countries where this program is focusing. I think there were 4 countries. Yeah, just wanted to know like why those particular countries, and also if you'll be like spreading this to other countries as well.
All right, that's a good question. So currently we are with 5 countries, and we will be expanding to more countries. It's only that because we have to start with a number and then go expanding. That's easier because it allows us opportunities to work with a smaller group, and then from there we can learn lessons on how to expand to other countries. So that's still in the pipeline. And we are open to having as many people from Africa join the Wikipedia in Residence community. So we are not limited to just the 5 countries. But maybe the other thing that I can mention, why the 5 countries, is also because we have other programs running in those countries. So it's easier to start with countries that we have understood, But eventually we plan to expand to other countries. Yeah. I hope I have answered that.
Yes, you have. And there is also a question from Jan, who is joining us on YouTube.
Okay.
He's asking which language versions have you been working on? I think he's asking about the language Wikipedias, because Wikipedia has like different languages. So which ones have you been focusing on? Yes.
All right. So in terms of fellowships, we have two languages where we work with people, Anglophone people, but we also work with Francophone people. But then when you come to the Anglophone people, for example, like the Kenya elections fellowships, we are now looking for content in indigenous languages. So that means that we are also working on content in the local languages. We are not now just focusing on Wikipedia English, but we go to Wikipedia Kiswahili, and we also look for content that is published in other indigenous languages, and now publish that information. So what that means is that we are looking for Wikipedians who also are experts in these indigenous languages. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and are there any questions from the room?
Okay, not really like a question because I kind of have a conflict of interest. Hi, Esther, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so not really like a question because I kind of have a conflict of interest with the program. This is Ayo coming from Nigeria, and I happen to be the lead, for the project Wikipedia residents back in Nigeria. So of course I have a conflict of interest. So that's in Nigeria. It's just to add some few comments and maybe to also, for the sake of every other Wikipedians or Wikimedians joining and listening to us, to add some more clarity. So number one, for the language, just quickly, I'm just going to be fast with this. For the language, as you
Mhm.
said, the language is not just restricted to just it's not just restricted to just English. Like in Nigeria now, we have scores of contributors, contributing in various languages. In various languages, we have scores of contributors contributing in English, in Yoruba, in Hausa, in Igbo, and the amazing thing about it is that we have more contributors from these indigenous languages than even English, than English. So there's much of that concentration, in local language rather than just the typical English language. And lastly, for the sake of clarity and of course sake of different fellow Wikimedians listening to us, and I think it's also okay to also highlight. I'm just it's just telling us that to also highlight the fact that what was that gap? Because most times in the Wikimedia theory, it's always about advocacy, advocacy. Oh, before now, there has been huge gap. There has been a knowledge gap. There has been issues. So for Code for Africa and for this program, what was that gap? What was that really knowledge gap that was really identified? And why are you doing what you're doing? So that because that would also spur people to contribute. In Nigeria, most people that are contributing now, they are contributing mainly because they see it as a form of advocacy. Oh, because this is a good cause, because there's a huge gap. So for every other person within Africa, it's important to emphasize on this is the knowledge gap, this is the issue, this is where we are, this is why we are doing this, so that you can have more contributors, flocking in. Thank you, and good presentation by the way.
Thanks, Ayo. It's good to see you here. Yeah, good to see you here. So let me first emphasize what you're saying. Thanks actually for contributing to that. So the indigenous languages are not only Kenyan languages. Like as Ayo has said, when you go to Nigeria, we're also looking at the indigenous languages there. And we're encouraging all the fellows to actually contribute, also involve their indigenous languages as much as possible. And then to answer the second question, I think for Code for Africa, one of the key gaps that we are looking forward to, we are working to fill, is the fact-checking gap. I feel like that's one of the areas where there's a lot of work to be done. So that is the gap that we are focusing on, in addition to advocacy. Because what's the goal? It is to provide correct information that is actionable. And we are seeking to do that mainly by correcting the wrong information, by fighting misinformation. So the gap that Code for Africa is really trying to fill is fighting misinformation or disinformation. I hope I have answered that, Ayo.
Okay. Yeah, there is one more question from Jan. So do you have plans to document and share experiences from these programs so that they can be copied elsewhere in the world as well?
That's a very good question, Jan. And yes, we are. So we are documenting the projects that we are working on, and we shall make this information available through our mediums. So that's on our website, but also if you follow us on Twitter, you'll be able to see when we publish this information, on our platforms. So we plan to make it available because we'd like others to also learn from what we are doing, maybe for the projects that they plan to do. And this can also be an opportunity for other people to actually come on board and partner with us. So we plan to do that, Jan.
All right. I think that brings us to the end of this session. Thank you so much, Esther. And yeah, thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much, and I do enjoy the rest of your day too. Bye.